Welcome back to Griffonomics, where we conduct financial investigations to define the risk before we look at the reward. Today we're diving into Appian Corporation, ticker APPN.
And this is one of the most compelling stories in enterprise software right now. I mean, really conflicted.
How so?
You've got a business that has basically solved its own internal profitability issues. A huge win, only to find its entire valuation, its whole story, is threatened by this massive external problem.
The lawsuit.
Exactly. So here's the bet Appian is making. They're betting their successful pivot to profitability, and we're talking a strong $32.2 million in Adjusted EBITDA in Q3 2025, and their very different AI and process strategy will be enough to secure their market lead.
And justify that premium valuation.
Right. But it's all happening against this backdrop of existential uncertainty from the $2.036 billion Pegasystems litigation and, frankly, just intense competition.
It sets the stage perfectly. So let's start with their identity. Who is Appian? They call themselves, very simply, the process company. And they deliver this unified low-code software platform. But it feels like it's for more than just, building simple apps.
Oh, way more. That's the key. They're not just for app building. They are designed to orchestrate these huge mission-critical enterprise processes.
Yeah, and when you say mission-critical, that really suggests they're selling infrastructure, not just some optional feature.
Precisely. They are embedding themselves deep into the regulatory and functional plumbing of these massive organizations.
So they become part of the foundation.
Exactly. And that level of entrenchment, well, it translates directly into an almost utility-like financial structure. The stability is phenomenal.
Okay, so what do the numbers look like there?
Recurring revenue made up a substantial 86% of total sales in Q3 2025. I mean, subscriptions are their real economic engine. And crucially, they're often billed in advance.
Which is great for cash flow?
Huge for working capital stability.
The figure that always jumps out at me is that customer loyalty stat. A reported 99% renewal rate in their cloud subscription business.
It's incredible.
But is that real loyalty? Or is that just massive lock-in because it's too painful and risky to rip them out?
It's probably a healthy mix of both, But you're hitting on the key strategic point. They target clients where the cost of failure just far outweighs the cost of the software itself.
Who are we talking about?
Think highly regulated sectors, the absolute top of the process automation pyramid, the world's largest banks, major pharma companies, big insurers. For them, migration risk is it's enormous.
And I imagine their government footprint is especially sticky.
Absolutely. When you look at the revenue breakdown, 32.2% of their total revenue comes directly from government agencies.
Wow. A third of the business.
A full third. The other 67.8% is from commercial and other. And to give you an idea of their penetration, they serve all 15 U.S. cabinet-level agencies.
All of them?
All of them. They're not just selling some small piece of software. They're deeply integrated with tools like ProcureSight, which is used by over 80 federal agencies just to manage procurement data. I mean, that kind of integration makes you almost irreplaceable.
Okay, so that strong, stable foundation, that leads us to their tech moat. This is where they have to differentiate from the giants like Microsoft.
Right.
Their CEO famously talked about saving millions with boring AI. I love that phrase. Why is boring a good thing for Appian?
It's so counterintuitive, isn't it? But for enterprise customers, boring means safe. It means auditable. Appian's core belief is that AI works best inside a defined process.
Not just running wild.
Exactly. You're not generating these, improvisational creative leaps. If you're a bank or a pharma company, you need guardrails, governance, auditability.
Compliance.
All of it. So Appian uses AI to drive what they call superhuman efficiency for standard, repetitive jobs.
So their whole AI strategy isn't about chasing the flashy Gen AI headlines. It's about predictable ROI in a really constrained environment.
That's it, exactly. And they successfully monetize this conservative approach. They charge a 25% upcharge for customers who opt into the AI-inclusive license tiers.
So for the advanced and premium tiers.
Yep. They are literally selling safety and process optimization, not just novelty.
Okay, but for an AI to optimize a sprawling process, it needs data. And in these huge old organizations, that data is, it's everywhere. Old databases, spreadsheets.
Total mess. Multiple clouds.
So how does Appian's AI even function if the data is so fragmented?
This is where their architecture becomes so critical. It's something called the data fabric.
Unpack that for me. data fabric.
Think of it like a unified layer of connectivity. It's a universal translator and access point for all your company's information, no matter where it lives.
So on a legacy mainframe or a modern cloud database, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And the genius part is that the data stays where it is. Appian doesn't force you to migrate petabytes of information, which is always the most expensive, riskiest part of any IT project.
The no migration, less risk, but the Appian platform and its AI agents can treat the data like it's all in one place.
Precisely. It allows for real-time reading, and this is critical writing back to those original systems. This unification is what makes their AI agents so powerful.
And is it working? Are customers using it?
Oh, yeah. The metrics show it. The data fabric drove 166% year-over-year query growth recently. It proves clients are really relying on it to connect their, fractured data landscapes.
Let's make this real. What's a good example of this boring AI in action?
The best tangible results we see are in intelligent document processing, IDP.
Okay.
This is where the AI reads and extracts data from complex, unstructured documents. Think lengthy contracts, invoices, client intake forms.
It's stuff that takes armies of people to process manually.
Right. And Appian's been able to achieve an accuracy range of 95% to 99% in these use cases. That's a massive efficiency boost when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of forms a year.
And what's next for them on that front?
The next big move is something called the Agent Studio. It'll let people configure powerful new AI agents using just natural language, no code. And that beta program, it was their most oversubscribed ever. The demand is intense.
Okay. So we've established a highly successful, sticky, high-margin business with a pretty defensible AI strategy. Now we have to talk about the cloud hanging over all of it.
The Pegasystems litigation.
The very definition of an existential risk.
It truly is. So the whole thing started when Appian won a $2.036 billion jury verdict against Pegasystems.
$2 billion.
Yeah. Back in May 2022, the jury found Pega liable for, and this is the language, willful and malicious trade secret misappropriation.
What do they actually do?
It involved fraudulent access using false identities, we're talking fake names like Albert Ski, to get unauthorized intelligence on Appian's platform.
That's a massive victory. But a jury verdict is never the end of the story, right? Especially with a number that big. What's the current status?
The legal drama is volatile. On July 30, 2024, the Virginia Court of Appeals actually reversed the judgment.
So they lost.
Well, they remanded it for a new trial. But, and this is important, they rejected Pega's argument that Appian presented no evidence of trade secret theft. The reversal was on other grounds.
So where does it stand now?
Appian appealed that decision to the Supreme Court of Virginia. They heard the case on February 11, 2025. And now, we're just waiting. In limbo.
So we have this binary outcome that could deliver a massive payday or nothing but legal bills.
Yeah.
How is the company managing that kind of downside risk?
They did something very sophisticated. They secured a judgment preservation insurance policy, a JPI policy.
What does that do?
It's basically a financial floor for this legal asset they're fighting for. They paid a premium of $57.3 million for it.
A $57 million premium.
Wow.
Yeah. And in return, it provides up to $500.0 million in coverage if the final judgment gets reversed or significantly reduced after all the appeals.
So they spent almost $60 million to hedge $500 million of a potential $2 billion verdict. That's a high-stakes move.
It is, and it tells you two things. First, management takes the risk of reversal seriously enough to pay that kind of premium. And second, they've defined their worst-case financial outcome.
Have they factored any of this into their planning? No. And this is key. Management has been very clear they have not factored any potential payout from the lawsuit or the insurance into their current financial statements or operational plans. They're running the business as if the worst-case scenario is still very possible.
Which brings us to their operational response. This big pivot from growth at all cost to disciplined, efficient growth, their internal answer to the external pressure.
And that internal pivot has been, undeniably successful. The numbers from Q3 2025 really show it. They reported Adjusted EBITDA in a positive $32.2 million.
Which beat guidance.
Smashed it. And it confirms the success of the whole efficiency drive. Management was confident enough to raise the full-year target to between $67 and $70 million.
And that projects what was the figure? A massive margin improvement.
A massive 2,000 basis points margin improvement over just 2 years. That is an organizational sea change.
2,000 basis points in 2 years is astounding. Where is that leverage coming from? Is it just cost cutting, or is the core product itself that profitable?
It's the latter. The core software is incredibly leveraged. Their subscription gross margin, non-GAAP, was 88%.
88%.
Yeah. That tells you that for every dollar of subscription revenue they bring in, 88 cents is gross profit. It just shows the scalability and quality of the asset.
And what about sales?
They're optimizing the sales engine too. The go-to-market, or GTM, productivity ratio rose to 3.5, and that marks the 9th consecutive quarterly increase. They're just getting more and more efficient.
Okay, let's put it all together. We have an operationally sound, high-margin, sticky business built on this safe, boring AI strategy. The pivot is working. But is that differentiation enough? I mean, they're still facing competitors like Microsoft Power Apps, which has just infinite scale.
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? The successful pivot to non-GAAP profitability and that differentiated AI strategy, that provides a really strong operational floor. They are focused on the highest complexity problems where, Microsoft often just serves the edges.
Appian's niche is where compliance has to beat ease of use.
Right. But the market is still cautious, and appropriately so, because of that intense competition and, the broader risk that generative AI could still disrupt low-code platforms entirely.
And beyond competition, we have those two big structural risks that kind of weave together.
Absolutely. The first, obviously, is the existential dependence on the Pegasystems litigation. The court's decision will be a binary event for the stock.
But there's another deadline.
Yes. Investors have to look forward to 2027. That's when $231.563 million of high-interest debt comes due.
And that debt maturity timeline is critical. They really need to know the outcome of the lawsuit, win or lose, before they have to go out and refinance over $200 million in high-interest debt.
It creates a really challenging strategic timeline. If this legal uncertainty persists into 2026, their cost of capital to refinance could just skyrocket.
So where does that leave us?
It leaves us with Appian as a high-conviction, high-risk bet. It's balancing this demonstrable operational strength, that 88% gross margin, 99% renewal rate, against massive looming external liabilities. You're essentially betting on their commercial execution and their legal success in equal measure.
It's a fascinating case study. You have this highly efficient tech company managing a safe, boring AI strategy, while at the same time navigating a multi-billion-dollar legal spectacle and a ticking debt clock.
Risk defined, portfolio protected.